Hey everybody, Spence on another photo adventure. It's Memorial Day weekend, so I had a little bit of time off, so I wanted to come up and see what we could see. I actually stopped at a state park this morning down by where I live, and all they had was a big loop out in the middle of nowhere and a sign up about Zika. So we abandoned that plan, and I decided to wander the back roads of Florida, down here in southwest Florida, and ended up here at Myakka River State Park. This is probably my favorite state park so far that I've been to in the state of Florida. They have quite a few amenities. There's 3 campgrounds. They have quite a nice concession area where you can they have like a little restaurant and things like that. So if you need to get something to eat, or if you're camping and you need some small supplies, they've got those as well. So it's really quite a nice park, and everybody else I've talked to has said the same thing, that they really have enjoyed this park the best of all the ones that they have been to. So I've got the Zone 6 8x10 with me. I got 4 sheets of FP4 Plus. So I'm hoping to at least get a couple of sheets, find at least one scene that we can go home with. You know, the light's not great. It's about 3 o'clock, and the light's very, very harsh. So maybe we can hike back into a trail somewhere and see what we see. It's a little warm out, so it says it's 91 right now, so probably the heat index is getting close to 100. So it should be interesting. Alright, so I'm up here on the north end of the park. It's called the Myakka Island Trail. I've been coming to this park for almost 10 years and I've never tried this trail. There's about 60 miles of trails in the actual park itself. If you stay on the main road, it's 7 miles from the north end to the south end. So I thought, well, let's try something new, right? So this looks like a service road. It should be pretty easy walking. Not sure what we're going to find out here. I'm hoping to find some pretty cool old oaks or something like that to shoot. We're kind of a little bit far away from the lakes and the actual river, so we'll see what we run into. All right, so we found our spot. Pulled something pretty stupid. I got, I don't know, quite a ways in here. I thought, man, I'm really doing good, making good time, walking and everything. I thought something's wrong here. So I was thinking about the next shot, how we're going to set this up. I got so excited about bringing you guys with me, I realized I'd left the tripod for the 8x10 in the car. So we got to trek all the way back to the car. Good news is the car's still parked where I left it. Windows and everything's all still there. So, hey, if that's what happens, right? We're out here, we're getting some exercise. We're out here with nature. I've seen some hawks, some woodpeckers, some other birds I couldn't even tell you about. That's not my specialty. But anyway, so I found this really interesting landscape here behind me. And this is from a control burn. And I just thought it was interesting to get this old, dead, mangled tree with some, maybe that one, or I should say those two pine trees behind it, to kind of show like the end of life and the start of life, new and old. So we'll get this set up and we'll go from there. Okay, so I got the camera set up. Had to make a little adjustment where I showed you where the camera initially was going to go with a tripod with that tree. I realized that the tree was so tall, I was too close, so I had to keep backing up. And I was kind of getting frustrated simply because I really wanted just the tree with that clean background. As I started backing up and I was looking under the dark cloth, some of those distant pine trees, like I'd mentioned, came into view, and then I had to back up even further, and I thought, well, this isn't going to look so good. So I had to keep backing up in order to get the top of the tree in. And you'll notice I also had to raise the front standard quite a bit, and I'm at full extension on my tripod. So I was pretty much maxed out unless I wanted to try the column, which this tripod is not really built for this to begin with. So I said, well, let me back up even further. So I backed up probably another 6 feet. And there was another tree out there, pine tree, that came in, and that gave me the number 3. And a lot of the clubs that I attend, photo clubs and just meetings, they always say 3 is a good compositional number, anything that's odd. So I was like, well, I have the dead tree in front, that can be number 1. I got the 2 trees in the back, they're kind of close together, so they can act as 2, and then the one single pine tree by itself can be number 3, if that makes sense. And there's a few other dark dead trees out there as well, so I'm sure it'll look nice once we get it all done. So again, like I mentioned, I did raise the front standard. I also tilted it this way a little bit to bring a little bit more of the foreground in focus. So we'll see how that works. I went ahead and checked the focus. I obviously did the composition, so I thought I would go ahead and let's meter this and see what we got. I haven't even had a chance to see what we got here. So I'm going to shoot, again, FP4 Plus, which is 125 ISO, and that's what I shoot at. I haven't tried pulling it or pushing it. I really like slow films that give me very tight grain. So I'm going to shoot at f/64 because, again, this lens will do it. So let's just take a spot reading here and see what we get. Now I'm actually going to meter on the dark side of this dead tree, and it's telling me 1 second. So let's just take a few other readings just to see how close we are. Yep, I think 1 second is going to be it. All right. All right, so it's 1 second, f/64 right on the nose. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out my little paper here. This really, I'll tell you, make something up for yourself, whether it's a little notebook, anything you have. Because let me tell you, after I get home, have some iced tea, sit down, I'm like, what in the world did I shoot that at? So, or I could even watch this, right? All right, so shadows, I'm going to put down 1 second at f/64. Okay, and let's check our highlights just to see what those are at. Pretty much is going to be our sky. Okay, so our sky is at 1/8 of a second. So it's 1/8. Let me just check the field. Yep, looks like 1/8. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I lied. So I checked the more bottom portion of the sky where it's lighter, and it's saying 1/15 at f/64. So that we'll write that down. Easy enough. Okay, so 1/115 at f/64. You gotta learn how to write too. That's another one of my things on my list. Okay, so I got 15. Well, let's double check up here. It's even written out here on the lens. So we got 15, 8, quarter, half, and 1 second. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 stops difference. So that's nice. It's not too crazy. So I'll probably, since I do use a rotary process to develop the film. It's not a Drobo, it's something that another large format YouTuber had put on. I'm going to do a film about that one of these days. So basically I have to subtract about 25% off of whatever the Times Ilford lists. So I'm going to probably go for 30%. That seems to be working good for me. And this film is pretty forgiving, and also with a D76 developer. I've mentioned that before. I used to use that Ilsafol 3 from Ilford, and that stuff was just too aggressive and I could not get along with it. So once I would switch to the D76, that stuff with this FP4, I'm telling you, if you're shooting FP4, try the D76 if you haven't. It's really a great developer. Okay, so what we're going to do is we've got that all locked in. Now, one other thing I want to check, I'm just going to go ahead and slide this to 1 second at f64 while I'm here. It's been a while since I've had to shoot something this slow. I'll be right back. I have to go get my phone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the reciprocity timer. I think 1 second is 1 second, so I think we're okay. So it says Ilford FP4 Plus at 1 second is 1 second. So there you go. So that's easy. So we can use the shutter that's on here. I don't have to get into T or B for bulb. T is for timer. So, all right, we'll get the film loaded in here and be with you in a second. Okay, so I got the film loaded, pulled out the dark slide. Yes, this is one of those times I actually remember to pull out the dark slide. Some people, they have their, they leave the lens open, they pull the dark slide and expose film. My thing is I like taking pictures with the dark slide in, and I have no picture. So I guess I'm just doing a lot of practicing. What can I tell you? All right, so just to go over our settings, right, 1 second at f64. The lens is obviously closed. I checked that before I pulled the dark slide. So we'll go ahead and we'll take one here. Let's make sure we don't have any wind. Everything looks pretty good. All right, so apparently what I forgot to do this time, because it didn't go, it cocked the shutter. So I just really like practicing. That's really it. I really want to make sure I do it right. All right, so we should be good to go now. All right, here we go. So let's double check and see if we got anything out there that's, I hear an airplane, but he's way out there. All right, not too much wind. I don't think we have any, so here we go. All right. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to replace the dark slide, and then I'm going to flip the hold around and do a second one. So again, with the developing as a just in case, we should be pretty good. All right, so we made it back, got all done in one piece, so that's pretty good. It was a good hike. Hopefully we got a nice photo to show for it. Obviously we'll show it at the end of the video. I appreciate you coming with me on another adventure. If you haven't and you enjoy this kind of content, please like, subscribe. If you have a comment about anything, I'd love to hear it. So I hope to see you on the next one. Thanks a lot.